and our committee members have done over the course of the past year. During today's session, we're going to be focusing on a lot of those updates and talking and reflecting about what we're going to be doing looking forward towards 2023. And we hope you'll be inspired to connect with us, get involved, get engaged, and amplify and elevate the ways in which you've engaged with the Data Visualization Society. As we look at what the purpose of an AGM is, we want to make sure that we recognize our current board and advisory council and help you understand what your role is in today's AGM. So our current board and advisory council, you can see everyone, include 12 different working board members who provide direct support to the day-to-day operations of the Data Visualization Society. And you'll have an opportunity to hear from each of them and hear updates over the course of the next hour. We're also governed and supported by an advisory council, which includes 9 individuals who are amazing practitioners, leaders, creators, teachers in the data visualization field, including 2 of our co-founders, Amy Cecil and Elijah Meeks. They provide additional ongoing support, advice, introductions, and ideas for us, and we're immensely grateful for their time and expertise and ideas. If you're interested in being part of DVS, there's many ways to get involved beyond just these 2 different roles as part of the board of directors and the advisory council. And we'll talk more about those over the course of today's meeting. For those who aren't familiar, in the world of 501c3 nonprofits and organizations more broadly, an annual general meeting or an annual meeting is an opportunity for the general membership of an organization or companies to bring people together to talk about the work of the past years and to allow people to vote on different key pieces of information, actions, or leadership decisions within the organization. We'll have our members, our dues-paying members, go ahead and vote on a proposed slate of new board of directors members after we finish the meeting today. And we appreciate you taking the time to be part of this conversation and hope that you'll continue to join the conversation in different ways, whether it's here in the YouTube chat or it's, for example, over in the Slack channel that we've created for this purpose. As we go ahead and think about what that role looks like, during this meeting, you'll hear the updates. You'll review priorities for the coming year, and you'll have that opportunity to vote. And so we hope that you'll be an involved and engaged member of this meeting and not just someone joining the live stream. We're all hanging out and watching and keeping an eye on your comments, and we'll hopefully bring some of those up if they pop up throughout the meeting and the conversation. So what I'd like to do is start today, besides level setting on what we're going to be doing, on what our overall run of show will be, and then some introductory thoughts about the ways in which we're thinking about DVS. First, directors updates, starting with me and then working through our various board of directors members, then talking about those nominations in the proposed slate, then a financial update from our operations director talking about 2022 and looking forward to 2023, and closing remarks to talk about ways in which you can get involved. As we think about the Data Visualization Society, we've grown a lot in the course of less than 4 years. For those of you who might be newer to our organization, we really are less than 4 years old. We'll celebrate our 4-year-old birthday in February. And since we were launched and founded coming out of the Tapestry Conference in 2018 with the goal of bringing together people from across different parts of the data visualization world and communities, we've grown immensely both in membership numbers and in the programs and ways in which we support the broader industry and community. And one thing that comes up a lot in our conversations is this question about what data visualization is. A skill, a full-time job, what does an industry look like for something that's become so part of our day-to-day lives as data visualization creators, as readers, as consumers, and in ways in which data visualizations influence how we engage with the world around us. And so as we think about who the Data Visualization Society is for, it can be easy to think about a professional association for data viz being only for those for whom data visualization is a full-time job. And as we think forward to what we want the Data Visualization Society community to look like, we want to also be inclusive of those who are building data viz skills as part of being an incredible analyst or developer, designer, researcher. It doesn't have to be your full-time gig at doing data visualization to find a very supportive home within DVS, or so we hope. As we think about the ways in which we structure our own activities and what we want to do as an organization, this year we aligned around 3 key priorities, shepherded by our partnerships director, Alex Royston, who you'll hear from shortly. The first is to nurture our data visualization community, building a cross-functional, tool-agnostic community for sharing ideas, learning, and best practices for data visualization design. This is what you see in terms of our engagement on spaces like Slack and the conversations we have on social media, as well as the hosted conversations we have like fireside chats and other spaces. The second thing that we do is that we really focus on celebrating and amplifying and showcasing the brilliance in data visualization design that's happening through conferences, writing, and awards. You'll hear a lot more about our Outlier conference from our events director and about Nightingale, our journal and now print publication from our publications director. And I want to give a quick shout out to one big way that we leveled up how we celebrate great data visualization work this year by becoming the new home for the Information is Beautiful Awards in partnership with David McCandless and his team at IIB. During this year, a team of mix of volunteers and some part-time paid support went ahead and relaunched the Information is Beautiful Awards that had run from 2012 until 2019 and gone on pause for 2 years during the pandemic. The IIB Awards are an opportunity to celebrate incredible data visualization work and to build out the entry showcase that exists that includes a long list, short list, and winners all tagged individually that allow you to browse and be inspired by great data visualization work, as well as finding ways to go ahead and use those kind of works in your own teaching, training, educational opportunities, and more. We heard from many community members how much they missed IIB because it was a way to go ahead and engage and surface different things that they had not seen in the past. And when we look at the numbers from 2022, we're really proud of the amount of engagement we had from our community around the awards program. We were inclusive of works that have been published from that 2019 last awards ceremony, encompassing almost 3 years of work, and had over 1,300 submissions, with 53% of those being free or public works that paid no submission fee to be part of the IIB Awards showcase. 35% of those submissions were from early career professionals who self-identified as being early in their career. And we ended up choosing 93 shortlistees and 38 winners, including the various special awards winners. That was supported by 52 different judges, and engaging many judges was in part necessary because of the broad array of countries represented in the showcase, as well as the languages represented in the various different works that we presented. And I can't understate or overstate really the number of hours and the time and the love that went into bringing this awards program back. We're currently looking for your feedback as we think forward to the IIB Awards in 2023, though, and would love to know your thoughts about the overall awards program, ways we can continue to grow how it celebrates, but also helps people learn and inspire around data visualization, and to hear your feedback about the overall experience if you were a judge or someone who submitted. So please go ahead and take a look at the link in the chat box and the link on the YouTube stream, or the link that we've sent you in your email if you're a DVS member, to go ahead and share your feedback about the IIB Awards. Last, we want to focus on advancing the data visualization industry. This is where we prompt and share conversations about everything from data visualization ethics to finding ways to better codify and explain what the various different career paths are within the industry of data visualization design if you want to pursue full-time work in data viz. You'll hear more from our education director about some of the work that's happened underneath that space over the course of the past year. So as we go ahead and we think forward and we go ahead and launch into our updates, I want to go ahead and focus on the fact that as we go into 2023, each of our different priorities and the work that we're doing, we want to see ladder into one of these three areas: nurturing, celebrating, or advancing the field of data visualization. And if you have ideas or recommendations for our board, feel free to reach out to me directly on Slack or via email, or to reach out to any of our board members, or just more broadly on Slack more generally, and share your ideas for the ways in which we can achieve these big goals. We wouldn't be a community and a professional association without you as our members. And so we're keen to hear from you about how we can achieve these goals with and through you over the course of the coming year. With that, I'm excited to go ahead and hand it over to some of my fellow directors from the Data Visualization Society to provide updates from their respective departments of the many achievements and activities that happened over the course of the past year. First up, we're going to be bringing up Jill. Jill is our programs director. Welcome, Jill.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. I'll go ahead and hand it over to you, Jill, and excited to go ahead and hear about the amazing work happenings within the programs team this year.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So there's so much fantastic work to celebrate this year, and I hope you're ready for a high-speed, exciting journey into a year from the eyes of DVS. In case we haven't met, hello, I'm Jill. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a white woman with medium-length, straight brown hair, and I'm wearing a copper-colored top, a jean jacket, and 2 DVS pins. In collaboration with many other board members, I coordinate some of our ongoing, recurring programmatic elements like fireside chats, the mentorship program, and the State of the Industry survey and DataViz challenges. So to kick us off, next slide, please. I'll start with a look at the mentorship program. So last June, we launched the first cohort of the revamped mentorship program with great success and lots of lessons learned. We had 137 mentee applicants and were able to match about half of them with 54 mentors. Those mentors had a combined 456 years of DataVis experience, and mentors and mentees were located across 15 time zones, engaged in 3 different Slack channels, and in total had an estimated 450 hours of mentorship. One of the main lessons learned here was that coordination of a program like this takes a lot of work. So for the first cohort this year, we're bringing on a program manager to ensure that the mentorship program gets the attention it needs. The cohorts each last around 12 weeks, which includes a kickoff event, at least 6 mentorship sessions, and a celebration at the end. Mentor applications are open now, and mentee applications will open by January 31st. So if you're interested, details can be found at datavisualizationsociety.org/mentorship. Next slide, please. One of the other exciting activities on the programs committee is the State of the Industry survey, which it also includes a report and a challenge. So each year we launch a survey to get to know our community a little bit better. This year we had just over 1,500 responses, and the team has been hard at work visualizing some of the initial findings for the report. You can see a sneak peek of the findings on our website at datavisualizationsociety.org/reports. And we will also be sharing the de-identified survey with DVS members as we launch our annual survey challenge in February. Next slide. And then finally, as Amanda mentioned at the outset, we are centering all of our activities around these nurture, celebrate, and advance pillars. So for programs, this means having a stellar year of mentorship with 300 matches, crossing fingers, excellent conversations and fireside chats representing important and timely discussion topics, as well as elevating the amazing talent in our community. And then continuing to compile data through the State of the Industry report and promoting DataVis challenges to help members of all levels grow. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Marilia, our events director, who will tell you a little bit about the exciting things.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if you were still saying something, Jill?
I'm done.
You're good. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Jill, for your updates. Hello, everyone. My name is Marilia Cunha. I'm from Portugal, and I'm the new events director. It has been quite interesting and quite challenging, and I'm definitely looking forward to share with you all that we have been doing and all that we have planned for 2023. Next slide, please. I don't know if you maybe, Amanda, you can put the slide. Thank you very much. So first of all, I would like to speak to you a little bit about Outlier 2022, which was the second edition of our annual conference. We had an actual great numbers, 666 attendees, 49 speakers from 22 countries. 2 of them keynote speakers, 1 DVS talk, and then 26 talks, both individual or in group, and 12 lightning talks, which is the shorter format we have for 5-minute talks that are usually a great success. We also had 28 unconferences, also a very popular format where anyone can join and propose a panel. It can be about data collage, or it can be about how to be a team of one. So we are definitely continue to have these formats. For the first time in 2022, we had a Viz exhibit, which was an online one through a mural platform, and we had 42 works displayed. And also we had 7 sponsors. And next slide, please. Which without them we couldn't have made Outlier 22 possible. Just a short notice to acknowledge them: Policy Viz, Netflix, Bill Chander, Mika Data Analytics and Visualization, TIBCO, Feedzai, and the Data Face. Next slide, please. Also, I can't thank enough the team that made Outlier 22 possible: Molly, the former events director; Evelina, Outlier director, also previous Outlier director; Bill, Duncan, Lloyd, Gabby, Kathy, Celine, Yining, Isabella, Naomi, Noel, and Joanna. Some of them will continue planning and executing Outlier 2023. But we'd like to thank them and also the DVS board and team for putting together Outlier. And for 2023, next slide, please. We have already shared with you on social media that we will have, for the first time, for our third edition, an in-person conference in Porto, Portugal, but also virtual. So we will have two formats in one, which will definitely allow everyone to join, even if you can't actually travel to Porto, Portugal. But we do hope that we are able to meet lots of the members at the conference. And it's going to be on the 3rd and 5th of May. Next slide, please. Until the end of January, we will launch the call for speakers and we will start selling the early bird tickets. So pay attention to our social media and to DVS social media, Outlier and DVS social media, sorry, to know more information. And how can you support? Well, applying to speak through a talk, a lightning talk, and a conference, attending in person or virtually, sponsoring Outlier and DVS, and even volunteering for the virtual or for the in-person conference. Next slide, please. Just finishing off, I would like to let you know that we will continue nurturing the DVS community through our annual events and also our events committee and the DVS team that make it all possible. We would like to continue the celebration also with Outlier 2023 and IB Awards 2023 that Amanda already spoke. And we would like to advance the events committee and initiatives by supporting also local-led events by DVS members. That's it for me. Jason, I think you're next.
I'm next. Thank you. All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Jason Forrest. I am the publications director, and I have some super exciting news. If we want to go to the next slide. Oh my God, we made a print magazine. We announced it here, I think, 2 years ago. I think that everybody was like, wait a minute, what? You're making a print magazine? And we did it. So this in 2022, we were able to deliver our first 2 issues. And guess what? Issue number 2 is already sold out. That's kind of crazy. If we want to move to the next slide, please. So I want to reiterate, we consider Nightingale to be a community celebration. We think of everything that we do having a focus in our community. We are proud to consider ourselves to be a hub for a global discourse on data visualization. We are proud to continue to focus new voices. We have specifically tried to systematically expand our editorial focus for the last 3.5 years now. We have, since day one, really tried to focus first and foremost on a sustainable operation, that meaning that everyone is compensated, that everybody is valued, that timelines and commitments of time are understood and reasonable. We are a digital and print hybrid, which is pretty unusual in this day and age. And what you see here to the right is a spread from the latest issue where everyone around the world, not everyone, but I don't know, 150 something people around the world shared their Nightingale in print hashtag. And so here's all kinds of places and Neil's eggs. If you want to go to the next one. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about each of our kind of offerings. Nightingale Magazine currently has 2,100 subscribers. This has shipped to 59 countries globally, and doing some research with similar sized magazines, that's extremely unusual. So again, thank you to our global community. First issue was on the subject of culture and came with the supplement, The Kids Table Zine. We kind of surprised people with that one. And I think people got a lot of really excited comments back, and also clips of educators and kids themselves filling it in. Issue 2 came with 2 supplements: Unimaginable Death, Visualizing COVID-19 Pandemic Milestones, which was done in collaboration with Northeastern University. This supplement explores how media outlets around the world dealt with visualizing large numbers of casualties. It's a very unique, slightly more academic type of writing that we've published, but we're really proud. I've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. And then we wanted to continue to experiment with the kids table as an activity poster. Just as a last note, all of these are available online to our members via MemberSpace. If you go to the next slide, please. All right, so listen, there's a whole lot of work. There's a lot of people behind the scenes at Nightingale, and we meet weekly. And I just wanted to take just a tiny moment. So our creative director, Julie Brunet, aka Data Citron, did just incredible design work on issue 2. I mean, on issue 1 as well, but issue 2 like totally blew our minds. And this is the moment you can see if you kind of just squint your eyes where my mind is literally melting when Julie created this entire diagram of what the process of inspiration is. I think you can see the bemusement by Angel, our operations director, there as well. You can go to the next slide. Just wanted to share a little moment of levity. Our digital site, nightingaledvs.com, we published 148 articles this year. We've generated significantly more, about 250,000 more page views. This has generated a lot of social traffic. Our Gale newsletter has grown to 2,700 subscribers, and we push that out pretty much every week after the DVS email. We have spent a lot of time trying to be mindful in honoring our reinforcement of other DVS initiatives across the organization. As you can see here in what it looks like today with the top 3 posts helping to reflect on the IIB. We've also focused on a lot of different new types of content. And it sounds kind of silly to call out reviews, but having a community that is in dialogue with other parts of the community is very important, in my opinion. We found new ways of featuring our practitioners of all different skill levels around the world with DataViz horror stories, 3 questions whiz, and continuing to explore with multilingual support. Hey, guess what? You can get involved. Nightingale at datavisualsociety.org. Next slide, please. Trying to get fast. Listen, I also want to be realistic. We've had some challenges. There are some opportunities, and one of them is on advertising. So a challenge is find more advertisers. Opportunity is find more advertisers. We probably need to reduce a lot of our shipping and printing costs. That's something that we've been focusing a lot on behind the scenes. Should be rectified by issue 3. There is also some challenges with our data infrastructure, and that's one of the reasons why we had to close subscribers. So we plan on getting that up, hopefully in the next week or 2. On the opportunities, I also want to say that in resolving shipping issues, that also means that we're going to hopefully find faster shipping times so that we're not waiting for 3 to 4 weeks for people to actually get their magazine. Big goals next year, 4,000 subscribers. Hold my feet to the fire if I don't. And last but not least, we have really thought a lot about our complementary content strategy. Last slide, and then I'll be done. Sarah, I'm sorry. I thought I could do it faster. Listen, here's our nurture, celebrate, and advance. One of the things that we did hear from kind of different types of readers on magazine issue 1 was that we wanted to have kind of deeper, more professional articles. We've done that with issue 2. We're going to start exploring regular columnists. We have also wanted to reiterate that 30% of all of our writers are first-time publishers. It's really exciting for us. Want to have a quick call out to our dear friend Mary Aviles, who is leaving us as managing editor, our content editor Claire Santoro, our creative director Julie Brunet, and of course we have an editorial committee which is meeting again next week. So why don't you want to get involved? Of course, just drop us a line. All right, I'm done. Alex, over to you.
Cool. Thank you. Hi, I'm Alex Royston. I'm the partnerships director. My pronouns are she and her. If you can tell by my accent, I'm Australian, but I'm broadcasting live from my living room in Brooklyn, along with my Nightingale magazine. So next slide. So we continue to have our ongoing partnerships, which benefit our community greatly. So thank you to each and every one of you. We appreciate what you offer to our community, generally discounts around educational opportunity and just celebrating all your smarts. So thank you very much. This year we've had 2 new partnerships, Lifted Viz. So thank you, Gina, for your support. Again, offering educational opportunities to our members, along with Emeritus as well. So Thank you, Jake, there. Emeritus is a bit different. It offers discounts to top universities that are, and so we focus there on courses that are aligned or adjacent to the world of data viz. So 2 awesome partnerships, which we appreciate their efforts this year. We actually also have some great, new initiatives, being Information is Beautiful, which Amanda spoke to, along with the Intersections workshop, which we ran alongside those this year, drove fantastic new partnerships as well as continued partnerships from Bill and the University of Miami. So with that, we developed a partnership with Canva/Flourish. So Rebby, Jonathan, and Duncan, thank you so much for your support. And we really love that because it was not only monetary contributions, which is great, but they offered just the Canva platform to a lot of our members, have access to it now. But alongside that, contributed heavily towards the efforts and the assets around the Information is Beautiful Awards. So thank you very much. And thank you also, Bronson, with Martin and Sarah there, and everything that you did for Information is Beautiful Awards as well. So I'm totally quick, Sarah. So next in 2023, it's really about how can we focus our efforts around partnerships to grow them. So we really want to nurture scale partnerships that drive member benefit. So really focusing in on, obviously have our educational opportunities, but other partnerships as well that really can support our members and also support our community, and also explore new academic-led partnerships, which is a bit of a different offering. In terms of Celebrate, definitely multi-tiered collaborative sponsorships. So we have our major events, we'll have Outlier, and we'll have Information is Beautiful and the intersection workshops as well this year. So looking at sponsorships as well within those opportunities, and looking at different ways we can collaborate, just like we did with Canva and with Bronson this year. And then basically we started with these intersection workshops, a brainchild of Amanda, with the Information is Beautiful Awards, and we'll continue to explore, because they had such a great response to them this year, explore how we can develop them further this year. So that is partnerships. And now on to Nina with memberships.
Thanks, Alex. So hi everyone, I'm Nina. I am based in Chicago and I'm the membership director at DVS. So last year we did a membership experience survey, and based on that survey, we've identified that there's a lot of demand in having more face-to-face meetup, as well as smaller spaces where people can engage with each other. We realized that DVS has grown tremendously since it launched in 2020, and as of today, we have over 17,000 people on our Slack workspace, which is very exciting. We're excited about the growth, but we also realize that it's becoming difficult for people to navigate through the space and converse with each other. So next slide. With that in mind, we see that creating smaller groups is very important to ensuring that every member of the community can find a space to connect with other people that are either in the same geographic area or share similar database interests. So with the help of the DVS Engagement Manager, shout out to Heather Pham, last year we were able to officially launch this initiative, and so far we have launched or become affiliated with 21 different groups. And from these groups, we were also able to support 8 affiliated group events, ranging from informal meet and greet to hybrid watch parties for our flagship events like IAB Awards. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to all of the chapter and interest group leaders for your willingness to help organize these groups and events for the DVS community. And if you're interested in becoming a group organizer or joining a chapter, I'd encourage you to go to the link listed below to find more info about the initiative. And then next slide. So as a broader sense, these are how the membership initiative falls under the Nurture, Celebrate, and Advance themes. So some of these we've done to some degree in the past year, while others will spend a little bit more time on this year. So iterating on the membership structure and benefit is important to ensure that we're able to have a platform that delivers value that members want, while also ensuring that we remain inclusive for members who might not have the resource to purchase a full general membership. Going forward, we also want to start thinking about activating our membership data and creating more personalized experience while being mindful of members' privacy concerns. Local groups and interest groups also plays a role on all of these different objectives. So starting with the launch of groups in the nurture bucket, these groups also enable us to celebrate database practitioners in regions that otherwise might have been overlooked. And then we will eventually advance the field by supporting local and interest-based projects that are driven by the members of the group. So yeah, with that, I think that's all I have from membership, and I will pass it on to Simran for early career updates.
Hi. The Early Career Directorship was a new directorship that built on the work of 2 previous board members. And so in defining this role to align with DVS's mission of nurturing, advancing, and celebrating and advancing data visualizers, I focused on, could you put the next slide? I focused on fostering a sense of belonging, creating connections, and advocating for early career members across DVS programming and decisions. It's difficult to quantify these areas of focus that instead focused on creating small, powerful moments for connection. But some of the things that I'm proud of was we held 14 early career events with 341 total attendees. We had weekly-ish Slack discussions, and we shared early career profiles in Nightingale issues 1 and 2. And so these were really initiatives for early career people by early career people. And additionally, we supported other DVS initiatives like the IIB Awards by sharing early career perspectives and advocating for overall sense of belonging. This is my last AGM as the Early Career Director. I'm excited to see the fresh perspectives and energy our new Early Career Director brings. I just wanted to say that I'm so grateful for the community of early career data visitors that I've met through DVS. When I started in this role, I was a senior in college, and now 2 years later, I'm building my career in data viz, and that wouldn't have been possible without the peer support that I had at DVS. So thank you so much for all the events you've attended and so on. I'm going to pass to Richard, our Communications Director.
Thank you, Simran. Hi, as Simran mentioned, I'm Richard Sylvester, Communications Director based in London. And next slide, please. Fantastic. So the good news, I think, is that we've had real consistent growth across our communications channels, really since we started out 4 years ago. And that's been through week-on-week activity and communicating new initiatives. And I will be showing shortly some of those specific numbers from this last 12 months against the last 12 months. And in terms of how we've been communicating, so we've had a very much a kind of community-focused strategy. So I think those numbers have been a real in part to the different board members across the different departments, but also you, the community, because we've managed to have really, really impressive organic growth with absolutely zero budget in terms of media. So yeah, it's all been through very much hard-earned, owned channels, and some earned media, I guess, from some of the partnerships as well when we take on events, etc. So yeah, there's been growth across 8 of our core channels, and then in terms of like kind of how and what we've been thinking about is as the community grows, we need to think about, okay, well, now we can't really have a one-to-one communication. We want to be looking at this a wider dispersed audience. And so we're thinking now about personalization. That's been a really important part of the last 12 months, ensuring that people can see what they want to see and what they're interested in. And that also supports some of the digital channels, because if we're ensuring that we're providing better content for people that they like, comment and share, then that then has a really good reciprocal effect. Whereas if we're just sharing general content to kind of everyone, we know then that channels such as whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they will kind of throttle some of our service. So we're very conscious of that. And we want to put more energy for the following year into ensuring that, we're maintaining that position. Also, a big shout out to Jane Zhang, who's the communications manager, and she's helped ensure that we're delivering our communications pretty consistently, even when we have very focused moments of the year in the calendar. So example being the Information is Beautiful Awards. And then these are the stats, a comparison from previous year, 2021 to the last 12 months. And I think the two to really kind of call out are likely Twitter being literally a 56% increase over 12 months. That really, again, shows the kind of the community focus and the community that's really driving this growth. And then finally, YouTube, I guess naturally we're seeing that video content is very much on the up for not just for entertainment purposes, but for educational purposes. So we see that as a large growing area. And yeah, that is a wrap. And thank you. And I will pass the mic over to Erica.
Hello, can you hear me? All good? I'm up. Perfect. Hi, everybody. I'm Erica Gunn. I am the Education Director for the DVS. Next slide. And can we make it bigger? So coming into this role about a year and a half ago, I think we needed to sort of set a vision for what we wanted education to be at the DVS. And education is always a boil the ocean sort of role where you could do so many things and it's hard to decide what to do first. And so looking at this position, we've sort of tried to focus first on the things that are easy, the things that hit the largest number of people in our audience as quickly as possible to get that up and running, to leverage the resources that we have and that only we have, such as our survey data. And also, instead of making it just about the data, to make sure that we're really giving that a human face and connecting with our community to get feedback from them along the way. And as part of that, also looking education is sort of a connector role to collaborate across the organization to make sure that we're connecting with the programs committee, with the membership, with all of these different groups, and with the early career, et cetera, to work through the ways that we can support our members in all directions. And yes, I'm seeing a note in the chat. This is the 2022 strategy. I get temporarily confused in January. Next slide. So as part of doing this work, there have been several different focuses that we've had. There were 3 major initiatives that we were working on. But in order to get that done, we were also working with the community to pull in and have multiple different events. So we had 10 different small in-person meetings, either jointly or separately, jointly with early career or separately, on a whole bunch of different topics related to how people learn, how you get ready to learn, and how you get into data viz. We also helped to host a series of career interviews in collaboration with Amanda Makalek and Elijah Meeks, and have published a series of articles talking specifically about what it means to be a learner and making it okay to be a learner rather than an expert, and realizing that even experts still need to learn. In addition to those sort of day-to-day things, we've also had these major initiatives that we've been working on, such as the career portraits, which will be coming out early this year. And that includes outputs from all of those interviews, profiles from a bunch of people who are working in data visualization, and also a survey analysis to talk about what working in data visualization looks like in this field at this moment in time, again, based on that survey data that only we have. So this has sort of been our major initiative this year. We've also been working quietly in the background on creating a tagged archive of the DVS content so that we can expose that better on our website, creating learning resources drafts, pulling that information together in different topical summaries based on the kind of information that people might want to learn about. That's not out yet, but that will become part of some of the website revamping and other things that we'll be working on in the future as well. And then also starting to do some early research on more pedagogical needs, so the teaching side of education and how we can support that. So lots of different things. They'll come out over time, but this career portraits piece will be out very soon. Next slide. Just to end here, I want to thank everybody who has participated in this. None of this work happens without an army of volunteers in the background, and having a lot of people doing a lot of work in many, many different spaces. So each project has its own group of people. I won't go through them all, but I do just want to pause here and really appreciate the phenomenal work that my committee has put in as part of this role in the last couple of years. With that, I think I'm going to hand it over to Sarah. Here you are.
Thanks, Erica. Yeah, so I'm Sarah. I'm the Knowledge Director. I'm based in Edinburgh in Scotland. And the slide, please. So in the past year, I very much focused on internal kind of behind the scenes things. So we launched the initial version of our knowledge base in late 2021. Which is sort of a website for us to store all of our documentation and things like that. And since then, I've improved the media wiki setup a little bit to make it easier to use, and have mainly focused on creating internal documentation and creating processes and policies to make sure we work more efficiently internally and to sort of make sure we keep track of all of these things. So to that end, I've been working with other directors to organize documentation and make all of that happen. And then in addition to the knowledge base, I've been focusing on reducing organizational debt. So making sure we all know what email inboxes are in use and organizing our various accounts on different platforms and domains and web hosting and file storage. So these are all things where a lot of things got started up very quickly. Because as Amanda said, DVS is less than 4 years old, and now we're trying to transform that into a more sustainable system that'll work long term. So my term as Knowledge Director ends here, but I'm excited to see what the new Knowledge Director gets up to. And I am handing it over to KG, our DE&I Director.
Thank you, Sarah. Can we pause for a moment to acknowledge all the wonderful work and the really impressive achievements of everyone so far? What a fab team. I'm Kaumudi Goda. I also go by KG. I'm the Director for DEI. Can we go to the next slide, please? DEI can do a lot of things in a lot of different ways, and all of those can create powerful impact. For my work, I focused on 3 things. One is understanding and gathering more insights from those members who might be less vocal or who might not be participating as much or getting represented as much because they are in regions that are perhaps outside of North America or Europe. The team agreed that was a good way to start, and so that was piece 1. The second piece was to really understand what is the current reality of DEI at the leadership level and what is it that we need to focus on in terms of developing leadership talent? How do we embed that culture? Because we have fabulous values enshrined at the very heart of DVS. We really care about it. How do we bring that to life in the way we work every day, interact with each other every day in such a way that we continue to attract more diverse talent, make them feel included and create a sense of belongingness that then helps them maximize their impact while they're on the board, volunteering with us, or just engaging with us as members. 3 projects that I want to highlight, 3 pieces of activity I want to highlight for you. One, we had a project with interns from business school. They spent a few months with us. They interviewed all the board members, looked at the data we already have, identified members and regions and countries to interview, reach out proactively, as well as invite for interviews. Those interviews generated then a report that highlighted issues that board members were already working on and got us talking about what else we can do. The second piece is a series of conversations we had as a team within the board to explore work culture. What does that mean? What do we need? What do we have? What's feasible to bring a sustainable, supportive, collaborative, and inclusive work environment? Board members shared their experiences. We talked about managing stress better, focusing on how to create more impact for our members by consolidating our efforts, more opportunities for quiet, powerful interactions within the team and through our membership activity. And the last one, of course, is that DEI doesn't work in vacuum. DEI is a layer, a lens that goes with all other activity inside an organization and through the organization. And so ongoing advisory on people, culture, and DEI with all members is the third piece. Can we go to the next slide, please? Recommendations. First, let's acknowledge that, as you can see from everybody's reports, DEI is front and center on everybody's mind. There's a lot of effort being made. In addition, what can we do to further operationalize and bring these to life in everyday work and forge a path forward so that we can create ways in which we can represent all our members and their needs and priorities? So recommendations to create a diverse, inclusive, and equitable culture at the leadership level is important, to role model DVS values and to attract, engage, and retain talent from our members all around the world. A clear and consistent board mandate on what are realistic DEI goals at the leadership level, short term, medium term, including alignment and clarity on DEI directors' role and remit in supporting the team to further these DEI goals. Second, board commitment to develop a diverse leadership talent pipeline by designing and nurturing structures and activities to support the development of such talent pipeline. And thirdly, embedding an inclusive and supportive culture to attract, retain, celebrate, empower board members, volunteers, and all our members in all of their diversity so they feel that inclusion and that belongingness that's so important at DVS. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thanks, KG. It is fantastic to hear all the updates. And I want to acknowledge that not just KG, but also two of our other board members were stepping into brand new board roles this year that had not been in our previous boards. So DEI, an official early career role, as well as the membership role, and have all done an exceptional job carving out what those spaces look like for our organization. I'm going to bring up Jill, our programs director, who also was kind enough to step in as the nominations committee chairperson this year, Jill, which is no small feat and small undertaking. So I'll hand the mic over to you to talk through our nominations process and the proposed slate for candidates for the coming year.
Perfect. Thanks, Amanda. So hello, everybody. It's Jill again, the programs director who you heard from right after Amanda in the director updates. So like Amanda said, this year I also served as the nominations committee co-chair along with Bill Shander. And I'll walk you through our process for building the slate, which I'll introduce momentarily. So first, what is a slate? So here at DVS, we use a slating process, which is a group of candidates that are put forth for approval or rejection together, kind of as a collective. So this means that as a committee, we can discuss the collective skills of the group and propose qualified, but sometimes lesser known candidates who represent the diversity of our membership. And this will help us meet the needs of the board as a group. So this process also helps us avoid a popularity contest or a popular vote where often the most recognized names are elevated. And what I wanted to do first is just acknowledge the nominations committee, who spent hours reviewing applications, conducting interviews, and discussing the candidates for the slate. So to represent our members, we had Bill Shander, my co-chair, and also Joshua, David, Soraya, and Idris. 5 outgoing board members also served on this committee, providing candidates with a good sense of their respective roles during the interview process, which ended up being super helpful. So this is the board as it stands today. These are the folks that you met earlier and all of the updates that we received. So each year we turn over half of the board roles. So we maintain some continuity on the board and kind of have some processes in place. And there are notes on the slide about which board members are outgoing and which have applied for a second term. So the applications process starts with candidate applications for each role. So these are either self-selected or nudged by a nomination. So from this pool of candidates, the nomination committee reviews the applications and creates a short list of candidates to interview. After the interviews, the committee meets to make selections for the slate of candidates, and that selected slate is what we're presenting today. The application reviews and interviews are all very structured and systematic, trying to be equal and fair across the spectrum. And the diagram on the slide is illustrative and doesn't precisely represent the number of people who applied, were interviewed, or applications are selected. So it's just a diagram showing how the process generally works to give you a sense of what this means and looks like. So we have 5 proposed candidates for the slate this year. The nominations committee is proposing an additional term for Executive Director Amanda McCulloch to continue the work she started in her first term. Communications Director Nicole Santero has over 10 years of experience running communications campaigns. Early Career Director Ali Shah is a forever learner, excited about building community and making connections in the early career space. Knowledge Director Rochelle Patella is a certified knowledge management professional and looking forward to applying those skills for DVS. And Kaushik Kampella has been actively involved in many DVS activities, including IIB award judging and the mentorship program. At this time, the nominations committee has recommended that the DVS hold on filling the open DEI director role. The board is engaging in continued discussions about what DEI means to the Data Visualization Society and what would best constitute success in this role. So we'll be sure to share updates with the membership on any revisions to the role and the open application in the coming weeks. So you can learn more about each of the candidates in the emails that are sent to dues-paying members or on our nominations page at datavisualizationsociety.org/nominations. Just to do a quick overview of what each of the directors are looking to do in their terms, Amanda's looking to continue growing and nurturing the data viz community in her next term as executive director. She also wants to focus on sustainability, ensuring our resources are invested in the DVS mission to meaningfully serve our membership. As communications director, Nicole plans to continue elevating the DVS brand and ensure it's the go-to place for data visualizers across disciplines. Ali has a lot of ideas for the early career director role, including engaging with and amplifying perspectives of those new to DataViz, working with other board members to grow DataViz resources, and finding partnerships relevant to the early career space. As a knowledge director, Rochelle is looking to build on the great foundation we already have, ensuring that we center our practices around making materials accessible and inclusive. And Kaushik wants to focus on providing resources, building community, and ensuring we all feel like we belong in DVS. So this is our proposed board of directors with the new terms and incoming roles for 2023. Apologies, also some temporal confusion about dates. So this is the 2023 board. And then this is where you come in. So voting on the slate will be open to dues paying members through the link on the screen, bit.ly/DVS slate 2023, or received in your email or on the nominations page. It'll be open for just over 48 hours from this meeting through 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday, 17 January. So you'll be asked to either accept or reject the slate. If you reject, please indicate the role or roles you do not agree with. And if a majority of voters reject the slate, the nominations committee will then have 7 days to propose a new slate. So we're really excited about the slate that we're putting forward and hope that you take the time to vote. And I will pass the baton over to Angel for our financial update.
Thank you, and I hope everyone can hear me okay. My name's Angel Velarde. I am the operations director for DVS. I'm really excited to be part of this amazing team in Austin, Texas, and I actually joined sometime in 2022, so I'm relatively new. It was a mid-cycle addition. I just wanted to explain that in my role as ops director, I do see my role as being providing oversight to the financial components of DVS and ensuring the financial and operational sustainability. Next slide. Thank you. So making sure that DVS runs requires the time and effort of a working board and staff. So we have 12 board of directors that invest their time to execute the goals of DVS. And while the board also provides advice, it is a working board in that they spend significant amount of time every week managing and executing on board projects to keep DVS operating. And as DVS continued to grow and invest in 2022, the board's efforts were supported by an increasing number of paid staff, which you can see on the right there, who manage specific initiatives and events. This increase in staff was necessary as the board could not support all of the work being done to grow and expand DVS. So it was in support of that expansion of DVS. This increase in paid support, however, is a trend that will likely continue into 2023. And as the board, which is working on in a volunteer capacity, cannot support all of the work taking place in DVS, this growth is necessary to support the continued interest in DVS. And it's really the resiliency and devotion of the board, which is, becomes a strength and an operational risk for DVS, in that we do need this increased staffing, paid staff to run DVS. Next slide. In 2022, we did operate in the negative. The following figures are not final, so they're not final. These are not 22 final figures, but the final figures will be posted on the DVS website once they are finalized. Operating in the negative as a 501(c)(3) organization is not necessarily a bad thing, but it does pose some constraints and challenges for DVS. Our ending balance at the end of 2022 means that we do have a smaller margin for operations, which, when combined with the higher ongoing monthly expenses and the seasonality of certain revenue streams and expenses, puts us in a cash strap balanced position going into 2023. So while projections show that we're navigating this short-term squeeze successfully, it is a risk that we want to try to avoid going forward. Next slide. Our largest source of revenue in 2022 is our membership dues, which shows a continued interest in DVS and its mission. Our relatively small percentage of paid members in relation to our large support base of unpaid members shows room for continued growth and support. Outlier is also a significant provider of positive income for DVS, although ticket contributions were down from 2021. And the Information is Beautiful Awards and Nightingale are two other revenue providers, although they require more investment than revenue currently. So we were negative on those two. IB in particular was a new initiative for DVS in 2022, and it requires significant investment to relaunch. We are making efforts to ensure both become positive contributors to income in 2023. Finally, it is worth mentioning that our sponsorships were significantly down from 2021 and our own projections, which is something that we want to try to increase into 2023. Although we looking at macroeconomic issues could prove to be difficult. Okay, next slide. To support our ongoing operations, DVS increased its use of software and paid staff, which you can see those numbers being considerably higher than the previous year. Additionally, creating and shipping Nightingale continues to be a large cost driver for us. On the Nightingale side, Jason is looking at cost efficiencies and including new shipping partners and other operational improvements. For staff costs, this is actually something that will continue to grow in the current state and maybe even accelerate with any new initiatives or programs in 2023. A strategy towards mitigating this increasing cost for DVS will probably be something to deal with in 2023. And finally, software should continue to stay the same or possibly slightly increase in 2023. And this does not include a holistic update to DVS's digital ecosystem, which is projected to be an additional cost in 2023 and something that is badly needed. And one last thing to mention is that the unpaid hours contributed by board members and other volunteers to DVS were worth well over 400,000, and DVS could literally not operate without all the volunteers that make it possible. So thank you. Next slide. So at the beginning of 2022, we said we would invest in paid support to strengthen organizational systems and programs, and we achieved that goal. But those higher costs did come at the same time as less revenue from sponsors and increased costs from initiatives happened in 2022, leaving us in operating in the negative in 2022. So in 2023, we must move DVS in a more sustainable direction while also making needed improvements in our digital ecosystem. The incredible efforts of the board and volunteers make DVS run, but to ensure the long-term success, a more sustainable path needs to be created starting this year. This is really a great opportunity for us in front of us in 2023. Thank you.
Thanks, Angel. And I know that this is one of those kind of thankless jobs where you get to do all of the updates about all of the financials. And as an organization that has a Over the past 4 years, increasingly added to what we're delivering and doing for our members, it also comes at an increased cost. And I think of it kind of like NPR. We can't exist without the support of our members, and are endlessly grateful to the dues paying members who choose to make commitments and support DVS through your dues paying membership. So if you've got questions about that, feel free to flag them in the chat, or feel free to reach out to any of us. You can find a lot of information on the DVS website about how to become a dues paying member. As we go ahead and we wrap up today, big thanks to Angel, we're going to go ahead and just talk about kind of some closing words and some thoughts about DVS, where we're going, and the ways in which you can get involved. So very excited to have folks there. Let me pull down this comment here. There we go. So as we go ahead and we wrap up today, I want to highlight the ways in which you can support the Data Visualization Society, whether it's in big ways or small ways. I'll say that as a member of other professional associations, as someone with roots in history, as an evaluator and researcher, I've often been a member of professional associations where I don't engage on a day-to-day basis, where every so often the annual conference with an article or a piece of research, I have a chance to connect with folks in those organizations. And I think that that's a wonderful way to stay connected to a membership association. We want DVS to be a space that you can come to and engage with at whatever level makes sense for you. If you're someone who just wants to go ahead and tap into Outlier and join us in Porto, we'd love to see you. If you want to get more involved on a committee or by becoming someone who's on our board or leading a local group, that's great too. You'll see on this slide here that there's a number of different ways you can engage, from light touch small ones like engaging and chatting with members and answering questions on Slack or social media, becoming a dues paying member, joining a committee, sharing your expertise, whether it's through being on a fireside chat or through running a workshop with us, sponsoring events and programs, partnerships, and participating in community activities. We do have an open role right now for our education director, Erica Gunn, who's done a tremendous job in the term she's completed just in the course of the past year, and in filling the role when we had another midterm appointment prior to that. Has done a fantastic job of helping to lead and shepherd some of the baseline work to better understand the educational needs of our community. And we're really excited to bring on a new education director coming forward for the balance of that term over the course of the next year. You can find more information about becoming the education director potentially, and stay up to date on other updates on nominations on the nominations page for datavisualizationsociety.org. As we go ahead and we wrap up today, though, I want to send a big shout out and a big thank you primarily to all of my fellow board members who you've heard from and seen today. Oftentimes, some of them work a lot behind the scenes, thinking about the amazing knowledge work that Sarah does, for example, that doesn't end up being front and center in all of the things that we share about our organization. But these are the people who make DVS run. And I could not be more grateful to have had their help and support. For me, this is a year where I had a baby. I took some time off of DVS Slack and DVS work in order to go ahead and be able to spend some time with my family. And it's amazing to be able to trust that you have an incredible team who can pick up and manage that kind of work going forward. As we said, we're really looking this year to find ways to celebrate, advance, and nurture the data visualization community writ large, and do that through the work that we're creating and doing as an organization. And I can't say enough things about the ways in which we would love to hear from you about the work that you think we should be doing to support you as members. If you have ideas, you're welcome to reach out to us on Slack, to reach out to us through other channels like email, and to just stay in touch on social media. With that, I'll bring up a couple of our board members who are still hanging out here if folks want to flip their video back on. One of the fun technology constraints of StreamYard is that we actually can't bring everyone on because our board is so big. So we can't pull in all 12 people all at once. But we do have some of our board members who are still here that we're thrilled to have joining us for the conversation today. And with that, we'll say a big thank you to the missing ones. So Jason, Marilia, we're so sad you're not here to join us for this final sign off and farewell. But I wanted to go ahead and bring folks up to say a big thank you in all the ways in which you've served the board. If you're an outgoing board member, and the ways we can work together. Everyone got their Nightingale. There we go. Everyone's very excited about Nightingale print. Look at those. I don't have my copy yet. As the executive director, it has not shown up in my house. So if anyone else is eagerly watching their mailboxes, you are not the only one. But I am thrilled to go ahead and have everyone joining us here today to say thank you, farewell, and have a wonderful rest of your long weekend if you're here in the States, or your weekend if you're joining us from around the world. We'll give a quick wave and a sign-off, team. Thanks for all of your hard work and everything that you've done. And we hope that we'll go ahead and keep seeing you all over on Slack and other spaces. Bye now.